Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Corbett, Chair of the Ohio Rail Development Commission, and I'll call the meeting to order now. We have project partners and members of the public participating using the GoTo meeting. I'd like to thank Mike Fitch from ODOT's Local Technical Assistance Program, who is assisting us with GoTo meeting today. Mike, would you please give everyone an online overview of what to expect?
Thank you, Chairman Corbett, and good morning, everyone. Please note that this meeting is being recorded, and all comments are a matter of public record. As you already know, all attendees in the GoToWebinar platform are muted, but participants will have an opportunity to speak following the presentations. Please refer to the GoToWebinar panel on the right side of your computer screen. You're most likely listening to us using your computer's speaker system by default. If you experience any audio issues and would like to join by phone instead, please click on the arrow symbol next to the word audio to expand the audio section and select phone call. The dial-in information will then be displayed. You are welcome to submit questions at any time by typing them into the questions box of the GoToWebinar panel. After the presentations have concluded, there will be time for public comments and discussion. You may proceed by using the questions box, or you may click on the hand icon to raise your hand. Each person will be unmuted when it's their turn to speak. If you are joining by phone only or would like to provide input following the meeting, please email your questions or comments to Wendy Jordan at wendy.jordan@dot.ohio.gov. With that, we will turn things back to Chairman Corbett. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Megan, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Beal?
Present.
Commissioner Durger Roberts? Present. Commissioner Ryan?
Here.
Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Lampy?
Here.
Commissioner Lozier? Commissioner Wood?
Here.
Commissioner Richter?
Here.
Commissioner Zitter? Chairman Corbett?
Present.
Representative Hoop? Representative Sheehy? Senator Reineke? Senator Sykes? Representative. Mr. Chairman, we have 7 voting members present, so we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Do we have a motion to approve the September meeting minutes? Chairman, or Commissioner Richter with a motion and a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Chorus of seconds. Commissioner Lampy raised his hand first, right before Commissioner Ryan and right before Commissioner Durger Roberts. So we're going to go with Commissioner Lampy. Any discussion? Megan, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Beal?
I abstain since I was not in attendance at that meeting.
Commissioner Durger Roberts?
Should I abstain? I was not at that meeting. Great.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Lampy?
Yes.
Commissioner Lozier? Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Richter?
Yes.
Commissioner Zitter? Chairman Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we have 6 affirmative votes for the motion.
Thank you, Megan. Let's move on to staff reports. Matt, could you give your director's report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report begins on page 9. I'd just like to hit some highlights and just point out some kind of broader issues for the commission. This is a really unique or different meeting than some of our traditional ones, but I think it's going to be more of a norm moving forward. And this is where we are actually seeking approval to submit for federal grants. With the infrastructure bill or the IIJA, there's a lot more rail opportunities here. The last commission meeting we submitted and sponsored the Great Question Elimination Project for Astoria. Today, all of our resolutions are for submission of the CRISI grants. One aspect to this that I want for new members and old members alike, for CRISI grants, we follow a 2-step process for this. This resolution today will be supporting ORDC staff in their efforts to submit the application. This is not approval of funding. In the budget is what the budget that we're submitting the grant applications. That is the budget, the proposed budget listed. we do not come back or seek commission approval of the money until the award, because there's a lot of variables between the time of the submission and the time of the award. So if successful, you will see these again, and at that time, we will have pinned down the commitment. So this is what is proposed at the time. So just so you understand what you're approving. I would also like to point out that, you know, with these 4 federal grants, these projects total $52 million. And even at the proposed commitment, it's for the ORDC, it's under $700,000. So this is a pretty significant staff effort, but it's also a pretty significant opportunity for the ORDC to leverage that private and public funding to the state. Finally, you know, I've reached out to many of you asking questions and things like that. One question that came up is the idea of prioritization. And to this point, we have not prioritized these projects. One of the reasons why is we don't want to disadvantage one applicant over the other. The other aspect of it is for the CRISI grant application, the last round was roughly $360 million. This next round that we're applying for due December 1st is $1.4 billion. And it also has set aside for rural intercity passage rail trespassing and even maglev. There's a set aside for it. So what we try to do is part of this is really matchmaking, and we want to put the best foot forward for all Ohio projects. And so that's why we really haven't had to prioritize it. In the past, they have not, when questions come back, they have not asked us for that priority. So I think maybe that's a discussion we can have maybe for next round and for the debriefs on where that comes in. But at this point, staff is presenting these not in a priority order. These are just projects that we are submitting. So, and the other aspect of it is other programs. The CRISI one isn't one of them because of the broad openness of the applicant pool or eligible applicants, but others have state thresholds. So we would strongly recommend not prioritizing projects unless we're hitting those high state thresholds per state. So that's just another thing. I know this is all new to everyone. It's new to staff, and we live it every day. So I can't imagine how you're all feeling coming here and saying, why is there a $32 million project and no ORDC funding in it? So this is some of the reasons why, as we try to use these and look at these grants as individual transactions. So with that, I will end my report and take any questions from the commission.
Any questions from members of the commission? Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. We'll move on to the finance report. Megan, could you please give the finance report?
Mr. Chairman, my report begins on page 12 of today's meeting packet. The financial reports are all included in the packet. We do have 4 loans currently in repayment. All of those are outstanding. We are continuing to work through the fiscal year 24-25 budget process. Our request has been submitted, and we're going to work with various parties to assist in the development of the eventual executive budget that will be introduced in the legislature early in 2023 to take effect on July 1st of next year. I want to remind everyone that our now finalized 2023 meeting schedule is in today's packet, so please mark your calendars. We are going to Thursday meetings next year. For everyone who is doing headshots after the meeting, we will go over to the ODOT building and meet the photographer over there. And then on a staffing note, I want to recognize Alyssa Gratulas of our ORDC fiscal section. She graduated from the Ohio Fiscal Academy yesterday. That's a program through the Office of Budget and Management. It began back in March, and it covers all aspects of fiscal operations within state government. So she was one of the applicants that ODOT sponsored, and she has completed the program, and so she is now a certified Ohio fiscal professional. So congratulations to her. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Congratulations on. There she is. Congratulations. Well done. Now, projects for approval. Moving on to that. Tom Burns, will you present the 4 CRISI grant applications on today's agenda, and he's looking very dapper as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, if you will turn to page 23 of your packets, you will see the first of many CRISI grant applications that we were asking for support on. This one is a Cincinnati planning grant, and so this is a little different. This is the first time we're going to be doing a planning grant. It is something that's eligible that we've always kind of been encouraged via the FRA to take advantage of, but it's not something we've done in the past. We've concentrated mostly on capital projects, but this is something a little bit different. For those of you who are unaware, and I think many of you are aware, in Cincinnati there is Queensgate Yard, it's a CSX yard. Next to that there's NS has Guest Street Intermodal Facility. They do some yard operations there too. Bottom line is this is a very, very congested area on the rail side, and that congestion bleeds into a lot of different, roadway issues, different things like that, and it's a huge problem. For those of you who are familiar with Chicago and the CREATE program, that was a program where a bunch of railroads came together and said, okay, none of us individually can fix this problem. We need to all kind of find a way to work together, prioritize our projects, and actually tackle this together as opposed to doing it individually. This is a mini version of that. We've got CSX, Norfolk Southern, and G&W working with us on this grant. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply to the FRA to have a consultant help us take a variety of projects from the three railroads, kind of prioritize them, figure out what kind of red flags exist, just do some high-level kind of engineering and environmental work to figure out, okay, what are the best projects that are out there? What can actually fix the congestion problems, and kind of prioritize that so that we can start whittling away and fixing some of these problems, together, as opposed to everybody just kind of doing their own little fiefdoms almost. So that's the point of the project. As you see, it's about $2 million project. That's what we've estimated. We're going to get those consultants on board. They'll be involved throughout the whole process. Hopefully we'll get that one awarded. We'll get a good list of projects that we can then start taking back for other CRISI rounds, other grade crossing elimination program rounds, whatever other funding availability is out there. But that's the whole point of the project, to kind of get a plan moving forward to say, hey, look, we've got congestion out here. These are a variety of ways that we can fix it, and just start from there. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from members of the commission? Hearing none, I would ask members if we could just keep proceeding on with these resolutions and just do one vote at the end. Is that an issue with anyone? Does anyone foresee that being a problem? Can we do that?
I believe we can.
Yeah, we believe we can. Okay. Tom, let's continue on to the second.
Excellent. In that case, if you will turn to page 27 of your packets, Commissioners, you will find the Canal River Railroad Norfolk Southern CRISI grant. This is a great project that we were brought by Norfolk Southern recently. This is a project to essentially rehabilitate, put a large capital project into the line that is leased to the Canal River Railroad. You can see that up there. It actually continues even on into West Virginia. This is just what we've got in Ohio. And the project is, tie project, some bridge deck replacement, relatively simple stuff. Looks a lot like most of what our normal rehabs would look like, as we've done in the past with some of our other railroads. This just happens to be on a scale that we are unable to match, which is really exciting. One of the things, as Matt mentioned, we've got a lot more availability with our CRISI funding on the federal side, so we figured this was a good opportunity to kind of put something like this in and say, look, we can actually fix this entire railroad here. Because if we don't, we have, this is kind of a preservation project as much as anything. It has been, I think we've used the phrase marginal rail line at different points in the past. It is a line that has, relatively light density versus some of the other lines out there. And if it goes away, we lose a lot of connectivity in that area. I mean, you can see it is essentially the only railroad that goes in that direction in Ohio. And so that's something that we want to make certain that we preserve out here. So yeah, I mean, this is another really exciting one. Pretty simple capital project, but that doesn't mean it's a small capital project. So with that, any questions for anybody?
Any questions from members of the commission? Tom, go ahead and proceed.
Excellent. Our next briefing is on page 31, Commissioners, and that one is from the Napoleon, Defiance, and Western Railway. And these next two, I will note, these probably look very familiar to some of you who've been around. They are essentially continuations of previous CRISI grants that we have won. And so when we were brought these by our railroad friends, we said, hey, this is a really great idea. We clearly have something here that the FRA is interested in. Let's pursue these. So for the Napoleon, Defiance, and Western Railway, our last CRISI grant was I think it was about 8 or 9 miles of rail replacement, a bunch of ties, different things like that. This is the next phase of that. There's another, I think, 13 miles of rail replacement on this one, going from memory. But yeah, I mean, this is basically the same project that we had previously. This takes a line that, as we all know, and as we saw recently with the video, was one of the worst maintained lines in the entire nation, and continues this project, not just where they've done it, but make certain that we can kind of say, we finished this line between Napoleon and Defiance. We've got everything into the condition that we need to make certain that we don't have any more issues with a lack of maintenance, with rail that looks like spaghetti, or ties that look like twigs and all that kind of stuff. So this fixes all of that, and we can actually put a flag in this one. I've said this many times, and for those of you who've heard it, I apologize, but this was the first time I went out to an actual rail line, working at the Rail Commission was, at that point, the Maumee and Western, now the Napoleon, Defiance, and Western. And I remember looking around and thinking to myself, what is happening out here, man? Like, if you come out here and you see a rail that goes like this, it's like, is this what it's all like? And clearly it's not, which is great. I found that out later. But to be able to put a flag in this one is like really exciting, because we've been working at this even before I've been around and trying to make certain that this line gets taken care of. We think it's got a lot of potential. We've seen a lot of that potential you saw in the videos. Businesses are already coming to that, so we're excited to submit this one too. So questions on this one?
Any questions? Matt?
Just one comment to add. I think for those of you who might have in your mind, why didn't we just submit the whole project? This is one where the railroad financial administrative capacity, as well as RJC's administrative and financial capacities, couldn't make this one big project. That's why we're kind of phasing it. So this is really kind of more of a capacity limitation on our end and private sector partners, the railroad's end, as opposed to the value or whatever of the project. We just couldn't bite off that much at the time in one bite.
Yeah, we and that's one of the nice things about, especially now with the new infrastructure bill, is that we know we've got additional rounds of CRISI coming up, and we know we can kind of plan for some of that stuff. So this is I would hope we get more railroads just kind of taking advantage of perhaps a phased approach to projects too. So if that's necessary, we know we can do that. We've got some additional funding sources from the federal side.
There are no questions. Tom, continue on, I think, with project 4.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Commission, if you turn to page 35, you will see the last of our 4 anticipated CRISI projects, and that is the one from the R.J. Corman Railroad. Again, this is a continuation of basically the project we had done previously. It's much the same work. This one is so the previous one that we had done was concentrated on both sides of, there are 2 R.J. Corman Railroad divisions here in Ohio. There's the Western Ohio lines and the Cleveland line. Our last grant was actually for both of them. We had projects on both sides. This one specifically is just for the Cleveland line. It is on kind of the north side and the south side of the line. And again, it's a rehab project that looks a lot like what we can do, what we do with our normal projects, tie replacement, a little bit of rail replacement, some crossing remediations, that sort of thing. But again, at a scale that we can't necessarily do ourselves. And so the railroad brought us this and said, hey, we won this previously. Do we think we have another opportunity to partner and submit this? And we said, absolutely. So this one's in front of you guys too. So any questions on that one?
Any questions? Seeing none, hearing none. Tom, number 5.
Excellent. Number 5, we're gonna switch it up, and Tim's gonna
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, I'll be the special guest. Permission. this will be on page 39. There's no accompanying slide, I don't believe. But if you're at the last commission meeting, this may be somewhat familiar, the language in it. So the director had indicated that we're living and breathing CRISI right now, and part of that is involving partnering with other potential grant sponsors across the state. So we are the planning organization for rail in the state. We update our state rail plan on a regular basis. One of the technical criteria for the CRISI grant notice of funding opportunity is inclusion in the state's rail plan. Now, we updated our rail plan, I would say about 4 years ago is when that planning process started. And as we know, projects come up on a regular basis. So conveniently, we have a commission that can review resolutions to amend our rail plan. So there are two projects in this resolution. One is in the city of Cleveland, Bessemer Avenue roadway realignment. I believe the executive director's report had some context for that project, but it's consistently considered the most hazardous crossing, at-grade crossing in the state. This would be a potential project to realign Bessemer Avenue over the railroad there. Second project is in the city of Hamilton, is a grade separation project on the north side of the city of Hamilton. So the local sponsors in this case, City of Cleveland, City of Hamilton, but ORDC can help support these applications by amending our rail plan to include these projects and help our partners across the state fulfill this technical criteria to make their grant applications as competitive as possible. So I'm happy to take any questions on that.
Any questions? Hearing none? Okay, thank you. Those are all the resolutions. CRISI grants, correct. So we need to, any additional discussion on these resolutions, because what I'll probably do is let's just go back to first resolution. We'll do a motion on 22-09. Is there a motion on 22-09?
Commissioner Beal, so moved.
And a second? Second. Commissioner Lampy. 22-10. Is there a motion? So moved, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Richter, is there a second? Commissioner Durder Roberts. Resolution 22-11, is there a motion?
Commissioner Beal.
Commissioner Beal, is there a second? Commissioner Ryan. 22-12.
So moved, Commissioner Wood.
Commissioner Wood, Commissioner Richter with a second. Megan, would you please take the roll on all these resolutions for me?
Mr. Chairman, did you want to take 22-13?
22-13, forgot about that one. Is there a motion?
So moved. Commissioner Beal.
Commissioner Beal, second. Commissioner Durder Roberts with a second. Any discussion on any of them? Megan, would you please take a roll?
Commissioner Beal?
Yes.
Commissioner Durder Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Lampy?
Yes.
Commissioner Lozier? Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Richter?
Yes.
Commissioner Zitter? Chairman Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we have 7 affirmative votes, so the motions are approved.
Thank you very much, Megan. Tom, back to you.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Commission, if you will turn to page 41 of your briefings, you will find the Church and Dwight Rail Infrastructure Expansion briefing. And before I turn this one over to David Johnston from Church and Dwight and his team. I do want to note, this is a kind of a fun project for us because we've kind of grown with Church and Dwight over the years. I think this is the third or fourth time that we have been in front of the commission. I think they started with maybe less than 100 jobs, maybe around 150. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, we are growing through the roof with them, and we are very happy to see them back here, continuing to expand in Ohio. And with that, I'm going to give it over to David, and you can tell us a little bit more about the project.
Great. Thank you, Tom. And I would like to recognize Aaron Montz is on the call as well. He's CEO of the local Tiff and Seneca Economic Partnership, local economic development that we worked with pretty heavily trying to coordinate all of this. So I will. Tom, do you have the slides that I sent as well or not?
I believe so, right?
Yeah, if you could advance. Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you, commissioners. Happy to present. I did have the opportunity to come in person to a meeting actually back in 2016. It was our first project with you all. So glad to be in front of you again. So we are in rural Seneca County. That's an aerial. You saw the photo before. We're connected to we're serviced from Norfolk Southern on the main line between Fostoria and Bellevue. Next slide, please. A little bit about what we do here. Thanks, Tom. We've been here a number of years. Originally started making baking soda here back in 1980. So we make Arm & Hammer baking soda. A lot of that soda goes into the B2B industry, food customers, food companies, pharmaceutical, industrial, etc. But we've grown over the years probably more on the consumer retail packaging side of the business. So we make if you have a box of baking soda in your fridge, it was probably made right here in Old Fort, Ohio. We also make carpet deodorizer, cat litter deodorizer. Cat litter has been a huge growth product for us here at the site, and it's been really the main center of previous projects with you all, and that's what this one's about as well. And the most recent project we did was unit dose laundry detergent. So we're making pods now here in Old Fort, Ohio as well. So this project, details on this project, cat litter came in 01. It's done nothing but grow here at the site, which we're really excited about. This next expansion is pretty big, and we'll add additional processing and packaging machinery, and of course rail storage and track to handle the main commodity, which is clay, clumping clay to make the litters, various litter products we make, which you can see the Clump and Seal, Black Box, Orange Box, Multi-Cat cat litter, and Absorbex. So it's about 3,000 linear feet of track for storage and inbound of the various clay commodities, and then the unloading of that. I think we'll store an additional 40 plus cars on site, 80 incremental jobs. I believe it'll put us over 3 miles of track here on site now. So we handle quite a few rail cars a year of various commodities, not just cat litter, but the baking soda, animal feed ingredient, the laundry detergent. I believe most recently we were handling about 3,000 rail cars a year here at the site. And this project will add a fair amount of cars as the litter business grows as well, probably close to 500 a few years down the road, incremental. So really excited about it. Happy to answer any questions you may have on this project, and appreciate the consideration.
Any questions from members of the commission? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to committee reports. The administrative committee did not meet today. Commissioner Zitter is not here. So did the policy committee meet at all today?
Chairman Corr, Commissioner Beal, we did meet today, but I do want to point out that we did not have a quorum.
Yeah.
So no decisions were made or recommendations to the commission. Basically, our conversation was a continuation of really our kickoff meeting coming from a pandemic, where we were talking mostly about, we understand that Rail Commission is a very reactionary commission because they rely on their private partners and economic development initiatives, but
again, looking for those opportunities, and are we missing opportunities to be, better in planning on the planning side of things? And so that was a continuation of the conversation. Megan pointed out that we're coming up on the update of the state rail plan, so it was a somewhat timely conversation. And then even Tom mentioned in the one presentation, with the CRISI grant program, this actually is allowing Rail Commission to be more of a planning organization and planning multi-year. So again, that was really the basis of what our conversations were today.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Thank you, Commissioner Beal. Is there any old business to be considered by the commission today? Is there any new business to be considered by the commission today? Now we're at the public comment portion of the agenda. Mike, would you please give individuals for members of the public who would like to comment?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Corbett. We'll now have discussion of questions and comments. As a reminder, you will submit questions through the questions box in the GoToWebinar panel, or you can click on the hand icon to raise your hand, and please state your name before providing your question or comment. And looking at the questions box, we have one comment from James Bloom, and he says, quote, "I am a resident of Plymouth, Ohio, with a Plymouth, Ohio mailing address. Our bridge over the Ashland Railroad, former B&O Newark Division on Broadway Street in Plymouth, Ohio, has been closed for quite some time. Please assist the Ashland Railroad and the Village of Plymouth, Ohio, in being able to get the bridge and artery back open. I am listening if you have any questions." End quote.
Thank you for the questions. Do we have any information on that? Matt?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, yes, we have already met with the Ashland Railway and with the Village of Plymouth, as well as both. It's a unique situation. I'm sure the president is well aware of it. It straddles a county line. So we're working with both county engineers to come up with an acceptable solution for all parties. So I guess the best way I can answer that is we are aware of the situation and we are engaged with everyone. Don't have a solution yet. And part of it is not the actual structure, but the ultimate ownership of what the structure will be.
At this time, we do not see any additional questions.
Any other questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, we will call today's meeting to an end. Thank you very much for everyone coming.
Thank you, commissioners. This is Dave Johnston. I thank you very much. And I thought there would be discussion. I didn't give proper thank yous during my presentation, but I really do appreciate, look forward to working with Tom Burns again. I remember Tom from being out here in the past, so appreciate it.
Great, thank you very much.